all the distinguished delegates, honored guests, speakers, and participants. On behalf of MOGS, that is Mumbai Obstetrics and Gynecological Society, and AMWI, Association of Medical Women in India, it is my great privilege to welcome you all to this important webinar on Unite to End Digital Violence Against Women and Girls. Today, we gather here not only as professionals but as allies to have a committed word to build a safer and a more inclusive digital world for women and girls. This seminar brings together brilliant minds, dedicated hearts of researchers, activists, policymakers, educators, and young leaders. Through their insights and collaboration, we hope to spark ideas that will translate into action, advocacy, lasting, and impact on the society. So I would now like to introduce Dr. Rajendra Sankpal, who is going to give his address to the delegates. Dr. Sankpal is the president of Mumbai Obstetrics and Gynecological Society. He's currently into,
PPT.
He's currently into, one second, just allow me to share my PPT.
Biodata.
Are you able to share it?
Yeah, I'm just doing it.
Yeah.
It was taking a little while.
Not
Sorry for the hitch. Yeah, so he's the president of Mumbai Obstetrics and Gynecological Society, honorary member of European Society of Gynecological Endoscopy, chairman of the International Academic Exchange Committee, FOXY 2016 to 2019, past president of IH, honorary secretary journal of MOGS between 2018 and 20, and we welcome you, sir, for your address.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that nice introduction. My dear colleagues and friends, today is not just another scientific webinar, but it's the two great institutions, I would say, the Mumbai Obstetrics and Gynecological Society, a society with 91 years of legacy, academic legacy, I would say, and an AMWI have come together to protect something which is far more delicate than the human body, a woman's dignity. In a world where technology promises connections, many girls and women are being wounded by the very screen which you see on mobile mean to empower them. Bruises no longer appear on the skin. If you see, they appear in silence, on the minds, on the self-confidence, on reputation, and on dreams. I would always say not all scars are visible. Some live inside your phone you are holding. You know, digital violence is nothing but stalking school children, shaming young doctors, threatening mothers, humiliating professionals, and breaking tender adolescents' heart. Digital violence is one abusive message on your mobile, one manipulated picture, one anonymous threat, and her world can collapse without a sound. If a girl has to fear the internet, that means we have failed in reproducing future. The girl should not have fear in their mind while they are operating on mobiles or opening a bank application or anything. As a healers and as a protectors, we cannot treat only the body. but ignore the wounds that technology is inflicting on the soul. Today, we stand together as a doctors, police, forensic experts. My batchmate, Dr. Chikhalkar, he is my classmate, and we are meeting online after, say, almost more than 35 years,
35 years.
after completion of MBBS. So today we stand together as doctors, police, forensic experts, cyber crime experts, or cyber security specialists, psychologists, not as a professionals, but as a human being defending every woman's right to feel safe online. I thank deeply Dr. Mandakini Megh, the president, and my own Dr. Vandana Valvekar, who's my teacher, and for their leadership and vision taking out this particular topic, which is for very important at today's world, with today's world of artificial intelligence. My heartfelt appreciation to our conveners, Dr. Gauri, Dr. Bhumika, Dr. Rajeshree, who turned this particular event into an action. And I must express my gratitude to everyone who has contributed, every expert who has joined this mission of protection and empathy. Let us not teach women to stay silent. Let us teach society to stop hurting them. As a president of MOGS, I promise that our voice will not stop here. And today, we begin a movement to heal, to educate, and to empower every girl and every woman. Thank you so much for patient hearing.
Thank you so much, sir. So I would now like to call upon Dr. Vandana Valvekar to address the delegates. Before that, I would just share my screen.
Thank you, Rajendra. Each year we have MOGS and the AMWI for this particular day, we always celebrate together. So thank you for this, kindness and graciousness to, collaborate with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. So I would now like to introduce Dr. Vandana Valvekar. She is the past president of MOGS, member of MOGS Board of Trustee, and past president of IFUMB, ISOPAP, and AMWI National. Over to you, Vandana, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am,
Am I
you are.
audible? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, you are.
It is a great privilege and a pleasure to be invited by MOGS President Dr. Rajendra Sankpal and AMWI President Dr. Mandakini for this important webinar on digital violence. What is important is that today's technology has taken the man to fly. We have reached the moon, but it has its downside. The same is true of digital progress that the world has made. And today it has gone into a downside is the digital violence. And this is not only present in Central Asia, but also in the South Asia, as well as the countries abroad. And therefore, I would like to make a few, Dr. Rajendra has established as far as the impact of conversation is concerned. I would like to initiate the issues. In the personal issues, it is important that the personalization, intonation, misinformation, discredibility, all this harms the woman and keeps her out of the society with a lot of humiliation and lack of confidence. Medically, financially, we know that a lot of senior citizens, a lot of young women are drawn into exploitation and financial losses. Where as far as relationships are concerned, sexually, they are stalked, misogynistic situations have been created, and also it is created into sometimes being blackmail. And all this is because the woman is not actually, how do you say, woman is not very valid in her expectations. Lastly, we come to the medical or the healthcare situation. Here, a woman is prescribed certain medications, a patient is prescribed certain medication, and she does or he does he's a victim of this violence, and that gives rise to misinformation. It gives rise to wrong prescriptions, disreputation, and not only ruins his or her health, but also her confidence. And also, this also affects the laboratories, the hospitals, everything that is there. And therefore, it is important that it is not only a national concern, but it's a global epidemic. We also witnessing other situations like stalking and situation. This targets not only younger women, but also for senior citizens. I would like to say the gendered nature of online harm mirrors the inequalities in the society. A post can will destroy a woman's reputation. As the regional vice president of Central Asia, I see an urgent need to strengthen the regional collaboration and to best practices, warn the woman, enlighten the woman, empower the woman for all this. And therefore, this is important for medical professions. We rely on a lot of email, a lot of digital platforms, and therefore we must have. Though we are an important in the important community, like 50% of the world, we are trusted, we are respected and positioned, but still we require to, as a MWIS vice president for Central Asia, we must ensure that every woman, irrespective of nationality, can access the digital world with dignity and safety. And this is very true. And I'm very happy that MOGS and amongst our MOGS and AMWI have initiated this particular webinar for awareness as well as procedural and advices for the members of its family, members of the society. I really wish this webinar success, and I thank you very much for patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Vandana madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vandana madam. I would now would like to introduce Dr. Megh madam for her address. I'll just share the screen very quickly. Please allow me to do so.
May I say one sentence?
Yes, ma'am,
Yes.
please.
Go ahead, yeah.
Hello.
Bola.
Yes, ma'am, please.
So, yes, let's unite. Dr. Mandakini, Dr. Rajendra, let's unite.
Yes.
Thank you,
Very
ma'am. So it was my pleasure to introduce Dr. Mandakini Megh. She is the International President-elect for Medical Women's International Association, that is MWIA, National President of Association of Medical Women in India, Chairperson of ICOG FOXY 2020 to 2021, past Dean of Indian College of Medical Ultrasound, past President of IFUMB, member of FIGO Committee of Infections during pregnancy. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's okay.
And she has many awards to her credit. Over to you, ma'am.
So, good evening, everyone. And at the outset, I'd like to thank, just a minute, I have to share. I don't know where I. So, my address is with little bit of presentation, and just allow me, because there is something wrong with my PowerPoint, So, good evening, everyone, and I think thank you from the bottom of my heart for Rajendra already mentioned, and Vandana Valvekar madam. We are now partners in all the international, meetings, policy decisions, and I am extremely happy that first time in the history that we, vice president and president, we are from the same state and same city, I can say. So I'm going to speak on the little bit of introduction, because many of the people are asking me what is Madam MWIA, what is AMWI, and there is a lot of awareness and people are becoming members. I have myself made around 80 members, and I think all women doctors, we should become, and Rajendra, you can become associate member. So, role of MWI and MWI in eliminating digital violence is, I think, I will just there that the Medical Women's International Association is a non-governmental organization, charitable organization, which was established into the 1990, and already it is 117-year-old. But I must say that Association of Medical Women of India was earlier, and it is the oldest professional organization in the world that we established in 1907, and that was in Kama Hospital. The previous superintendent, the Dr. Girard and all those people were there, and they were all dedicated women. They were so much committed women, and they brought this organization to this level, and we are extremely humbled, proud that we are now heading this organization. So it's a core mission to address the issues for the important medical women. That time there was not very, atmosphere for admission for the medical women. And that time they have, suffered a lot. That time they dedicated selflessly to bring the status of medical women to this level and to improve the health and well-being of women and girls worldwide. Now, this is a recent photograph where all the women doctors of the 77 countries came together in the Cairo. And you can see here, and they are the one who are spreading the message of the and making the policy decisions, advocacy. So the role of MWI is advocacy and influence. MWI has a very important voice issue like work-life balance, maternity leave, career progression, fighting discrimination at the medical. Even itself, we doctors know that so much of exploitation of the medical women into the hospital that all of us know. Then the global platform, so we are fighting for that, the equality, no gender discrimination, even as a doctors also. Then global platform for health issues, it fosters the international dialogue. What is our duty now as an international president? International dialogue with different countries. Action on health issues like female genital mutilation, women's reproductive health, maternal infant mortality. And I'm really very happy to show this very historical photograph where I was installed as a medical president-elect Medical Women International Association. You can see Vandana Valekar madam, myself, we both of us in Cairo, and making the India proud that we both are from India, and we won many awards also that time gave. So what is our actually role? We have scientific and training projects. So one of the very important projects is that we have made the module with the India. The previous president has given us the, India should lead. So we already have Indian team who is training the doctors, who is, taking workshops. So the modules for the gender mainstreaming, violence against women, adolescent sexuality, we already made. And most importantly, what MWI is, it is already having the consultative status with the WHO. We are affiliated to WHO. We are affiliated to United Women, UN Women, and we are United Women Economic and Social Council, allowing it to contribute the international health policy. So we are actually very important part of the health policy. It is already since so many years. So we are established with international organizations. And the key role is the awareness and education program, conduct workshop. I'm just going through little fast, educate the communities. And these are one of the many important training program. Here you can see Gauri Karandikar, Shashibala Bhosle, Rajeshree Katke, CARC, the previous vice president before Vandana Valekar madam, Daruni was there. And we conducted in Zambia, we conducted physical training program in the Bangkok, we conducted in Pakistan, and we are now in this thing also presidentship, we are going to, have around 50 countries be lined up. So I think those who want to really participate, please. So we are having digital literacy training. So through this, we are having training women and girls through social media, teach how to use the strong words, help rural and underprivileged women. And we already have one session. This is a very important session where the global strategies for prevention of this violence against. She was our previous chairperson, and I was one of the very important committee members. You can see here. And I think India has done contributed very, very, in a big way to, in workshop and training program. Support of survivors. We provide counseling, emotional support, and maintain confidentiality, etc. And this is actually the vision of MWA, that we are monitoring, we are doing cultural and medical knowledge of the violence against women. Then we are enlightening the medical women and the stakeholders, and so on and so forth. These are the activities which we already plan. Legal guidance. It's not only just examination. We have to have a legal guidance. We through Sehat in India, we already had one window. The relief thing where I was deputy director at that time. So we have developed that module. Then we have that, sexual kids also, rape kids, etc. We are collaborating with government, cyber cell, and other professional organizations. Now, community mobilization, we are building the community in the groups, encouraging the parents, teacher, youth, promote the positive onlining and culture disease. And empowering and girls is throughout is a topmost agenda. So we are conducting advocacy for a safer digital platform. I think Rajendra has spoken, Dr. Vandana Valvekar Madam has already spoken that we are now, because it's a new thing, now the AI has also come. There are the morph picture, there are, a lot of psychological problem. So now we have to have a different kind of module which we will include in our whatever module we were having earlier. You can see here, Cairo, beautiful meeting room was there. And we are planning, a lot of things and policies are planned here. And last but not the least, what is the impact of MWIA and AMWIA? It is increasing awareness. When we started training, they say, oh, you have module, India has module, now let us follow that module. More girls are reporting the cyber harassment, better community understanding, reduced stigma, and stronger collaboration. So these are the impact. And last but not the least, we won around 6 awards, and that is one of the very important award. That is the Triennium Award, where the 3 years activities of the Association Medical Women of India was judged, and we got this award. And I'm extremely thankful to all the members of the AMWI, all my executive members, all the other organization. In MOGS, I had the big national conference also, AMWI last year, and everybody made us, made the India proud, and we won this award. So with this, I conclude that MWI and AMWI play a very powerful role by educating community, giving training, not only to the doctors, but to the judges, police. And then their work brings us closer to a future where digital space are safe, inclusive, and empowering everyone. So with this, I think, thank you very much for allowing me that. I have to stop sharing now. 1 minute, let me stop sharing.
You stop sharing, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving that brief introduction and letting us know what all perspectives we can go about and where we can reach. You are such a big inspiration, ma'am. Thank you so much. Ma'am, so now we would like to go on to the next session where we start with our scientific program rolling in. And I would like to call upon Dr. Gauri Karandikar Patil, who's my co-convener, my senior, who's going to, give us first the brief of the entire program, and then she would give us her talk. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, can I just share my screen? Yeah, good evening, everyone. At the outset, I would like to thank the Mumbai OBGY Society, Dr. Sankpal and his team, and Dr. Mandakini Megh ma'am for President AMWI and also the President-elect MWIA for making us a co-convener for this important issue. And here we are today to talk about Unite to End Digital Violence. So today is the International Day for Violence Against Women and Girls. and that is 25th of November, and that is the occasion on which we have chosen this topic and we are discussing this important issue. Now, when this topic starts circulating, people had my colleagues asking me, "Is it so real? Is it so much that you are discussing this issue in a national and international platform?" And we've seen that there is so much in the news that is coming about. By celebrities are being targeted, young girls are being targeted. This is a recent news that was on the 7th of November, where they had this Hyderabad cybercrime police probing into a famous singer, for being trolled and for having obscene things said about her. Also, we are seeing the common people also being targeted in this whole issue, and it is not only in India, but it is happening all over the world. The world news also recently flashed that a website was forced to close as an Italian woman fought back against unauthorized online image sharing. Now we are all using mobiles, we're all using laptops, and we're all into this. We're all susceptible, and it's not only about sharing of photographs. It's much more. And today's webinar that we have come together is to talk about this Unite to End Digital Violence. So the UN Women, this is the topic for this year's, or this is the theme for this year's Unite to End Violence, for this International Day of Violence Against Women and Girls. And this is where we are coming together. There is data that as many as 58% of women have been victims online some point or the other. 90 to 95% of deep fake videos are sexual images of women. And 1 in 4 female journalists, 1 in 3 female parliamentarians have been threatened online. So cyber violence is there everywhere. It is, of course, we are seeing a gender bias to the cyber violence, and as doctors, as gynecologists, we are committed to, because we see these patients, sometimes we are the first point of contact, and as medical women, this becomes our social responsibility as well. So digital abuse is real, and it is a real world problem. It's not only about getting your data back, it's also about anxiety, paranoia, fear, and a lot of things. So the UN has pointed out that online attacks, they spill over into real life, and sometimes they can lead to physical violence as well. And now we have AI. So AI is driving everything. AI might be also even recording this meeting, okay? Because we have AI boots which attend webinars, and they take notes for us. So AI is everywhere. It's on our phones. It's everywhere around. So UN Women has recently warned that AI and online anonymity, they are fueling a dramatic increase in digital violence against women. And this is very worrying because the legal protections are still weak. Many countries don't even have a proper legal system to protect women from cyber stalking and cyber harassment. So why are we doing this, and why are we meeting today? One is to raise awareness about this issue. Second is a medical response, because medical providers are often the first point of contact for survivors, and that's why there is a crucial role of medical doctors. And yes, nothing can be done by one single person or one single organization. It's a collective effort, and when everybody comes together, we know that united we come together, the better the results that we are going to have, and we are going to reach much more. 2023, there is a 63% rise in cyber crimes against women. So this is not something which is small or something which we can ignore. So that is why we have come together, that we need to connect with each other, and as AMWI members, as MOGS members and MWI representatives, and we have the digital safety team. Today we have people, we have the faculty coming from all kinds of backgrounds to come and to guide us on how we are going to manage these issues later. So this is why we are all here together. So I will invite I think I will stop sharing, and we will move on to the next part of our program, where we have our faculty who have been invited to come and to share their thoughts with us. I will just stop screen.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. So, Anuja Gulati, ma'am, she's a developmental professional with 35 years of experience of working on issues of gender, human rights, population. Currently, she serves as a program management specialist and works as a part of the gender and human rights team at UNFPA India, where she has been working for the last 25 years in different positions.
Ma'am, we'll stop
Provides,
here. I think that's enough.
No,
okay,
but
ma'am.
I would like to make a special mention. Thank you, ma'am. In spite of having a lot of family emergencies and her commitments, she has joined, and she's been really gracious to join us today online. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having invited me here. And I'd really like to thank MOGS and AMWI for having invited me to this event. Truly appreciate it, and truly appreciate that you're organizing an event on the United Nations theme for, the International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women. Really, really happy that this is happening today, and happy that I could join and be with all of you. Just give me a moment while I share my screen and
Yes, we can see it, ma'am.
yeah, but I think it's better now. Okay.
Ma'am, can you make it full screen?
It is full screen now?
Yes, now it's full screen.
Yeah. So thanks once again. But before I begin, I thought that has my screen gone off? I can't see it, unfortunately.
No,
It is
you
visible,
just
it is visible.
this thing. It's the first
Visible,
slide is
visible,
seeing.
Just give me a minute. I think there is a problem here because okay. Oof. I think there is a problem with me and
नहीं तो reshare करे.
no, I'm doing it. Just give me a minute. I apologize for this. While I'm doing this, I thought let me just begin by introducing to you or telling you a little about UNFPA, or the United Nations Population Fund. UNFPA is the Sexual and Reproductive Health Agency of the United Nations. Our mission is to ensure that every pregnancy is wanted, every childbirth is safe, and every young person's potential is fulfilled. We at UNFPA work to, just give me a minute. I think I'm having a problem. I'm going to stop sharing and reshare my screen. I apologize for this. I think you can see it now.
Yes.
Yeah, I apologize for this. So UNFPA works to achieve 3 transformative goals that really promise to change the world for every individual by 2030, by when we want to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And these 3 transformative goals are ending unmet need for family planning, ending preventable maternal deaths, and ending gender-based violence and harmful practices. And we in India work on 2 broad harmful practices. One is early forced and child marriages, and the other one is gender-biased sex selection. In India, we've been operational for 51 years now, and we work on 4 broad themes: sexual and reproductive health, gender and human rights, adolescent and health of adolescents and young people, and population dynamics, which is all about data. And we work across development and humanitarian settings. I now come to the presentation. As was mentioned by the presiding speaker, Dr. Dr. Rajendra Sankpal, as our world becomes increasingly digital, so do all the spaces and means for perpetuating gender-based violence. Like he said, answering a phone call, switching on a computer, or just having an online conversation are acts that should be safe for everyone across the globe. Yet, the digital world, as has been mentioned by my predecessors, has become full of risk. Just logging in may trigger a flood of harassment and abuse. And the targets are once again women, their girls, and persons who are vulnerable to discrimination. In the next 15 minutes or so, I will discuss what is technology-facilitated gender-based violence, its forms. Dr. Megh told me to specifically talk of the forms of gender-based violence. Dr. Megh, I'll do that. Its characteristics, and how is gender-based violence a public health concern. Yeah. What is technology-facilitated gender-based violence or digital violence? Technology-facilitated gender-based violence, as we talk of other forms of gender-based violence, is an act of violence that is perpetuated by one or more individuals, but how it is committed is different. It is committed, assisted, aggravated, and amplified by the use of information and communication technologies or other digital media against a person on the basis of their gender. So generally committed by persons who feel they are in positions of power or who feel they have entitlements. This can result in or is likely to result in physical, sexual, psychological harm as other forms of GBV. Also, it results in social, political, and economic harm and infringement of rights and freedoms. Well, what are the key characteristics of technology facilitated gender-based violence? The first thing is it is gendered and it is rooted in inequality. Why? Because it impacts women and girls disproportionately and impacts women in all their diversities. Women who are in abusive relationships, it impacts women who are widowed, who are divorced, it impacts women with disabilities, women from marginalized communities, older women also, and women in public or political life. That is, it could be women in politics, women in journalism, women athletes, business women, and women who are in activism. It also impacts persons with alternate sexual orientations and gender identities. Second characteristic is that it is broader than online violence. While technology facilitated or digital violence, gender-based violence, takes place on online and digital platforms, it can be committed through any type of technology. It can be committed through a phone, it can be committed through recording devices, it can be committed through GPS tracking devices, it can be committed through drones, anything. So it is broader than online violence. Second, third, it has no limits or geographical boundaries. Why? Because it may start as online violence and escalate to physical spaces or vice versa. It can start on a physical space and go online. And let's quickly take a look at the online-offline continuum of technology facilitated GBV. So online abuse, hate speeches, can get exacerbated and they can trigger and drive offline violence in the form of, honor killings, attacks on female public figures, stalking, doxing, all of that. Similarly, abusive intimate partners, can use technology, say in the form of a GPS tracking device, to control, to stalk, to monitor, to track, and to surveil women's digital and in-person activities. So it has really no geographical boundaries. Then it occurs in all societies worldwide, as mentioned by Dr. Vandana. It's not restricted to any particular country. It's a very, very global phenomenon. And third, it has severe impact on the health and well-being of survivors. It not just impacts their mental health, but it impacts their physical health. It impacts their sexual and reproductive health. Now, I'll talk a little bit about the forms of technology facilitated gender-based violence or digital violence. Online harassment, this can happen in the form of threats, stalking, or gender abuse. And I'll give you examples to help you better understand this. Aparna is a 25-year-old girl who lives in a city. Her boyfriend used phone calls and social media to threaten her after they broke up. She says she feels extremely unsafe of answering any phone call, even if it is not from him, because he could be calling from another number. Image-based sexual abuse. This is sharing of intimate images without consent. Roma, now I'll give you an example, and all my examples are fictitious. Roma met a man online. He became very friendly to her because he offered her a job. And, they got into a relationship online. He recorded videos of her and shared them with others in the community. Roma now says she's extremely disturbed and does not know what to do. Cyber stalking is use of technology to track or monitor someone's activities in real time. Rashmi's husband is extremely suspicious and he uses a GPS tracking device to monitor where she is, what she is doing, and all her activities. This, he feels, gives him huge amount of control over her. Doxing, this is publishing private or personal information without consent. Now, Mukta has faced, this is an example, Mukta has faced harassment in her office. She uses an online platform to openly talk about harassment and abuse of power, and she encourages other women to also talk about it. The perpetrator or the abuser posts, all her information, her name, her address, her email ID, her phone number, her pictures online, and encourages others, to teach her a lesson. And now what is happening is Mukta has started getting threatening messages. Strangers show up at her house. She says she no longer feels safe even at her home. So that. Deepfakes are AI-generated sexualized images and videos. Shubhangi is studying in standard 12. Her classmate, who's tried to make sexual advances and she says no, he and his friends steal her pictures. Pictures are available very openly. They steal her pictures, digitally alter them, make them appear sexualized, and circulate them online. So this is a form of deep fake. Non-consensual recording. This is using technology for voyeurism. Alpa is a lesbian woman. She stays in a metro city. She's having an intimate conversation with a partner. And this conversation was recorded without her consent, and the video was edited. Sexual content was added, and it was posted on a porn site. She has started receiving threat calls saying that the video will be sent to her family. She does not want her family to know about her sexual orientation. And she's extremely scared. She gives in to all the blackmail and threats, of people who are trying to trouble her. Hate speeches.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes. Do you want to tell me something? Okay, I'll continue. Rekha is a journalist. She's written a very interesting investigative story on illegal mining in the coal fields of Dhanbad. Since then, she's, several social media accounts or posts have actually begun posting misogynistic threats. They've begun posting, threats to her. They'll say she's not a good journalist. They've discredited her as a journalist, and she feels extremely unsafe. So this is hate speeches. And there is impersonation, which is stealing someone's identity to threaten, intimidate, or discredit another person's reputation. Now, why does technology-facilitated gender-based violence go unaddressed so often? One, because of its anonymity. The perpetrator can remain anonymous for very, very long periods of time. It becomes extremely difficult to identify who the perpetrator is. The second is automation. It is extremely easy to perpetrate. Why? Because it's done through automated sources. Anyone can perpetrate that kind of violence. Also, it can be done or it can be perpetrated from a distance without any physical contact. Further, it offers perpetrators impunity. How? Because, it is generally, like I said, committed in anonymity. And there are difficulties in law enforcement that limit the judicial system's ability to hold the perpetrator accountable for that kind of violence. And lastly, because of its perpetuity, it can be committed in perpetuity or over a long, long period of time because images and digital material that have been used to abuse the survivor can exist for long periods of time. We will now move on to see what are the consequences of technology-facilitated gender-based violence. Like other gender-based violence, technology-facilitated gender-based violence also has, health consequences. It can impact mental health, physical health, reproductive health, and we'll go into the details in a little bit. It has social consequences People or individuals who face technology facilitated GBV start withdrawing from public life. Also, several people may reduce their online presence, and this can increase the digital divide that we today talk of, the digital divide between men, women, boys, girls in use of technology. It can damage a person's reputation, personal reputation. And, it not just affects the survivor, but it impacts others beyond the survivor, children, families, communities, all of that. It can have economic consequences. Someone facing technology facilitated gender based violence may want to leave her job. If she leaves her job, it may result in loss of income, loss of salary, loss of education opportunities. So it has a very, very strong economic consequence. And it also impacts freedom of expression. Someone facing TFGBV, feel that their freedom has been curtailed. They cannot express their views openly. They start self-censoring themselves, and use of internet gets reduced. Well, we'll now see how is technology facilitated gender-based violence a critical health issue. One, because it impacts mental, physical, and sexual and reproductive health. And two, like any other form of gender-based violence, the health system has a very, very critical role to play in preventing and redressing TFGBV. Why? As Dr. Gauri mentioned, health professionals are the first contact point for survivors facing GBV or TFGBV. Health providers are a very, very non-stigmatizing entry point. Going to a police, going to a court, there is stigma. But going to a health professional, there is absolutely no stigma. And, health professionals are very strategically placed to identify, to question, and to respond to survivors of violence. We'll now come to what are the mental health consequences of technology facilitated gender based violence. It can result in anxiety and chronic stress. Why? Because of ongoing harassment and the fear that harassment may escalate. So, anxiety, stress. It can lead to depression. Why? Because an individual facing technology facilitated GBV will have a sense of powerlessness, a sense of shame, a sense, oh, I probably did something wrong. That can lead to, depression. It can lead to sleep disturbances, insomnia, nightmare. As doctors, you know better than me, I'm not a medical professional. It can lead to decreased self-esteem and confidence. Post-traumatic stress disorders, especially, when technology facilitated gender-based violence or threats are severe and they are persistent over a long period of time. And it can also lead to suicidal thoughts or behaviors, self-harm, suicidal ideations, particularly in cases where there has been public humiliation or sexualized abuse. And these can be extremely dangerous. We'll now take a look at what are the physical health impacts of technology facilitated gender-based violence. It can lead to headaches and fatigue without any physiological basis, again, due to chronic stress. It can exacerbate existing health conditions like hypertension, autoimmune disorders, all because of stress. There is a risk of physical harm, and we talked about it in the continuum, online to offline. Online threats can escalate into offline stalking. It can escalate into violence in different forms, at home, in private spaces, in public spaces, anywhere. It can lead to sleep deprivation, and that can impact immune systems, cognition, and overall physical well-being. Well, we move on to see what are the sexual and reproductive health impacts of technology-facilitated gender-based violence. It can lead to emotional trauma related to sexual exploitation, risky or coerced sexual behavior. Why? Because of digital blackmail. I keep blackmailing you. I'll share your pictures with your family. I'll share your pictures at the workplace, or you give me money, or, you give them to my sexual demands, further sexual demands. It can impact intimate relationships. When someone is facing technology facilitated gender based violence, especially sexualized abuse, it can really have an impact on, an individual's personal intimate relationships. How is technology facilitated gender based violence a public health concern? Well, it is a public health concern because it reinforces inequalities, and these inequalities impact health disparities. How does it reinforce inequalities? Persons facing GBV, TFGBV, are likely not to seek health services. Health seeking behavior gets impacted. Access to health services gets impacted. So health disparities increase. Second, it restricts access to health services, especially when populations avoid health care. I have a fear that if I go to a hospital, I may be judged. Someone there may be judgmental, or out of shame. What will the doctor say if I go there and say, okay, I did this and I shared general images, but someone added sexual content to it. Nobody is going to believe me. So out of shame, I will not approach a health system. So when populations avoid healthcare, health outcomes worsen, increasing the burden on the health system. It also impacts, development and well-being of adolescents and young people. Why I am particularly referring to adolescents and young people? Because, adolescents and young people form a very, very large proportion of survivors by impairing their sexual development and creating lifelong trauma that can stay with them over years. Also, it has a huge impact on health costs. Why? Because of increased demand for health services, especially mental health services. Now, we'll just take a look at what can be the role of health providers in supporting survivors of technology facilitated gender based violence. As health providers, we can all, or you can all, really create a supportive and safe environment by believing and validating what the survivor is saying. What is her experience? Always remember to tell the survivor, if she's reporting to you with an incident of technology facilitated GBV, it is not her fault. It is no woman's fault if she's faced gender based violence. It is the fault of the perpetrator. Do not pressurize a woman at the first point of contact to disclose all details, and wherever possible, offer her mental health support, crisis counseling. If she needs referral, refer her to advanced services. Also, you can provide services in a non-judgmental manner. हमें ये नहीं पूछना है एक survivor से, why the hell were you on that platform? Or who told you to share your personal photographs? Photographs are available everywhere. If he was threatening you, why didn't you tell me? Be non-judgmental. Ensure privacy. And here, privacy is different from ensuring privacy for a normal GBV survivor. We also need to check if all devices that, a survivor may be carrying, are they being monitored? Is her communication being monitored? Is there any person who's following her? So that kind of privacy also needs to be checked. Provide her with trauma-informed care. And again, trauma-informed care is about, listening to her, validating her experience, ensuring her safety, all of that. Assess her safety, both physical and digital. Is she safe in her physical space? Is she now safe in her digital space? And, support digital safety planning. Digital safety planning is trying to help the survivor, basically trying to ask her, who all have access to her devices. She needs to be aware of those things. You don't need to know, but she needs to be aware of who all have access to the survivor's devices, to her passwords, all of those things. Advise her not to immediately change her password or, do a reset on her device, because that will alert the perpetrator. So that can be there, and try and connect her to specialized services. Also, it is very important, as we say in other forms of gender-based violence, one critical role that the medical community has is documentation. medical documentation can support legal or protective processes. It can have a huge standing in the court of law and offer referral and multidisciplinary support. I'll just say, this is my last slide. How is it that we can create safer digital spaces? By ensuring that digital ecosystems prioritize safety and privacy features, make them user friendly. We need to have access to user friendly features. Who can access my password? Who can access what I have put online? All those things. Digital ecosystems should provide features for blocking, muting, or filtering abusive messages. And this is something which is widely being followed now. Incorporate features like dual PIN authentication. If I need to log into someone's account, there has to be two ways. One is you log in directly by giving your password. Two is maybe you put your phone number in and, the phone gets a message whether I can log in. So dual PIN authentication. Use machine learning algorithms to identify and remove harmful content, hate speeches. Make reporting of abuse simple, accessible, and prompt. And, integrate links in development of apps and digital tools, to resources like who are GBV service providers. Under the PWDVA Act, who is a service provider? A list can be provided there. Helplines, there is a 181 helpline. One-stop centers, every district has a one-stop center. Today in our country, we have 796 one-stop centers for women facing violence that provide an umbrella of services. So this kind of information can be integrated into the digital app. I'll just end by saying that to confront technology-facilitated gender-based violence is to reclaim the digital world as a place where dignity is non-negotiable, safety is a right, and silence is no longer the cost of survival. Thank you so much.
That was wonderful, ma'am, and it was really a good journey through the whole from digital safety to what we could all do together. Thank you so much for joining us and for taking us through this whole technology-based gender-based violence. Okay, this is a term that we have all learned today, and also through all those in real life incidences was really nice and very insightful. Thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your time with us. Bhumika, can we go to our next speaker?
Bhumika,
yeah, so our next speaker will be Dr. Shailesh Moite.
Shailesh, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So Dr. Rajeshree Katke would introduce our next speaker.
Sir, good evening. I think sir is a well-known personality, and sir is the Dean of TN Medical College and the Nair Charitable Hospital. There are many achievements. I have seen many of the times we were in the programs and all. Sir was a former Dean of the Cooper and the HBT Medical College, past president of MLAM, former MS and HOD Forensic Medicine Nair Hospital, Senate member of MUHS, member of Board of Studies of Maharashtra Judicial Academy, faculty in PGDD FISM by MCGM University, ex-member, Quality Assurance Committee for the maternal, death audits for Mumbai district, member of the National and International Association, countries participation in a disaster management, member of the ICRC, and UG and PG teacher since more than 3 decades. The areas of the interest is always with the violence against women and children. And it is a proud pleasure to introduce sir. We have seen a lots of great work of sir and witness also very nicely. And it's a proud moment to listen all sir's experiences on the digital violence, and definitely it is the hidden epidemic affecting women and girls. Sir, all for yours, we would like to listen all of your experiences, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bhumika, I'll just screen share.
Thank you, Katke, madam.
Yes, sir.
At the outset, I thank the organizers for giving me a permission and inviting me to this. See how destiny is. Today, I happen to be in university. I was about to be on the way, and I would be talking on the through the from my car, but destiny held me back, and I'm now speaking to you from MUHS.
ग्रेट.
आपल्या विद्यापीठातूनच अशा चांगल्या विषयाला मी बोलतोय,
किती
ते पण
छान सर.
कंट्रोलर ऑफ एक्झामिनेशनच्या चेंबरच्या बाहेर.
मध्ये पण बसा सर. आपलंच
Yes,
आहे
yes,
ते.
yes. This day is very important because this is the International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women. And it was decided none other than by the General Assembly of the United Nations way back in 2000. So it is almost 25 years that this importance of digital violence has been recognized. All of us are aware about what is violence. So it is any act of gender-based violence which would give rise to physical, mental, sexual, psychological harm that is caused to people. Now, coming to the specific topic of what is digital violence. Digital technology is very important in today's world, has transformed everything: communication, education, social engagements. We saw during the recent pandemic of COVID that we also, as teachers, employed digital technology to teach students, took their exams, etc. However, the same digital platforms can become spaces for abuse, intimidation, and violence. For women and children are disproportionately targeted. Digital violence is often invisible. There are no physical signs on it. It is underreported and normalized. Yes, its impacts are deeply real. Digital violence refers to harmful behavior carried out through digital platforms such as smartphones, social media, messaging apps, or online forums. Causes all sorts of problems, like from psychological, which is most important, emotional, reputational, or physical harm. It violates the dignity, privacy, security, and fundamental human rights. Now, there are various forms of this digital abuse. Can I have the next slide, please? Can I have the next slide, please? There are certain forms of abuse like cyber stalking. In previously, we have seen what is stalking is to follow. In cyber stalking, you follow an individual on the net. So cyber stalking is a form of obsessive behavior in which a person will obsessively and unlawfully monitor other person's online activity, whether the person is active on Facebook, whether he's on WhatsApp, etc. What is doxing is, in simple language, if I have to tell you, is publicizing private information of a person. So it is a malicious act, publicly revealing or publishing someone's private or identifying information without their consent, typically to harass, threaten, or endanger the person. Next is trolling. Now, what is trolling? It is the intentional act of posting provocative, offensive, or disruptive messages online to upset others or provoke emotional reactions. Then there are various other forms also like catfishing or impersonation, sextortion, online hate speech, non-consensual sharing of intimate objects, non-intimate images, which are called as deep fakes and morphing. Morphing is very, very common. Digital surveillance, monitoring, threats of sexual violence, bullying, pushing into prostitutions. These are the other things that could occur in these cases. Threats of sexual violence, this is the global statistics. Over 85% of women are globally facing online harassment at least once. And 1 in 3 women in India face cyber violence. However, only 10% of the survivors come forth and report such incidences due to shame or fear or they being targeted. Young women between 18 to 30 years are most affected. This is the most vulnerable age group that is known. Now, how do these cases come to the fore? And why women and children are more vulnerable? They are because of sexual objectification, misogyny online, that is hatred towards the female sex online, limited digital literacy among women and children, therefore they fall easy prey. They are not aware of their rights, what are the facilities available. There is weak enforcement of cyber laws, fear of reputational damage affecting their education, career, marriage prospects, business, etc. How do these victims come to fore? First of all, let us see what is the legal framework. So, legal framework, we have digital crime, then the BNS and the IT Act. Now, BNS and the IT Act, these are the two acts that are combinedly used in these cases for cyber stalking or repeated messaging. It is Section 78 of the BNS and 66, 67 of the IT Act. Revenge porn, deepfake sexual content, 74, 75, 79 is BNS. 65E, 65, 6E, and 67A is under the IT Act for sextortion, blackmailing, Section 304, Section 351, and in the IT Act, it is Section 66D and Section 72. For morphing, that is putting fake picture, body doubles, etc., Section 74, 75 plus Section 351 and Section 66C and 67A of the IT Act are used. Trolling and online hate messages, that is misogyny, Section 111, 2113 and Section 79, and in the IT Act, Section 67 is employed. Fake profiles, identity theft, Section 317, and from the IT Act, Section 66C and D. For doxing, Section 351 and the IT Act Section 43, Section 72 are used. What is the reporting mechanism that we have in India? So one can apply to the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal, and this is the website, www.cybercrime.gov.in. You have the police emergency helplines or local cyber cells where you can go and complain. Large number of cyber police stations have now come up. You can preserve the digital evidence, as the previous speaker said, not to change your password. Preserve the screenshots, URL, chat logs. If any money transaction has been done by you, that can be preserved. You report to your school, college, or any workplace grievance. Apart from that, you have the Bharosa Cell helpline, which is 1091. You have the Damini Patak. That is number you can call, helpline number is 1112. You also have the National and the State Commission for Women, which looks after the constitutional rights of women and the legal safeguards for women. So you could complain at that place also. Next, these were reporting mechanisms. These are some of the case studies and cases which have been decided in India. Now, prevention and what are the recommendations? Before prevention, how do these cases come to the fore? Will they come to a doctor? And how would they present? If it is, it could be in physical form, because if she has not given the money, then she could be beaten up. She should be sexually abused. There could be burns mark, torture marks on her body when brought. She might not reveal to us the history of digital violence, but such instances of torture, injuries of torture, or she might come as an unwanted pregnancy for MTP. And if a proper thorough history is taken, then you might come forth. Or if these things are not there, the parents could bring her with, or she could come with physical signs. Like because of stress, she would not eat food. So there is anorexia, weakness, giddiness, etc. There could be STIs. These are some of the presentations. And therefore, a multidisciplinary protection cell would be very, very essential. The role of the doctor would be to give treatment to her and report to the local police station as well as cyber crime that these instances have occurred. For prevention and recommendations, we need to promote digital literacy and online safety education. Now, these digital literacy should come in schools also, and strengthening the law enforcement and policy implementation, accountability of technical companies for content moderation, quick takedown policies whenever complained by the police, mandatory cyber safety sessions in schools should be held, encourage reporting and support for survivors through NGOs, build public awareness, community responsibility. Hospitals could have special cells for violence against women. Also, in cases like suicide prevention programs, should also be used for such cases. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you very much for enlightening on such a difficult topic, and it needs to be very updated and being your all the knowledge of the law, the digital violence, as the violence has been increasing at such a with a high rise, and at the same time the ignorancy and illiteracy with most of the people is very less in that. So this will be a very enlightened talk for all of us, so that we can train the people, we can train ourselves also, and we can give the right justice to prevent the all violences also, and what to do in the violences also. That is the one great responsibility with all of us in that. So thank you very much, sir, and
Thank
good
you,
to
madam.
see you
Thank
on this platform. So let's
Yes.
move to a second another great speaker. Uh,
I would just like to take this small opportunity to thank Dr. Shailesh Moite. He's traveling. In spite of traveling, he has been committed and he's talking from the MUHS today with us. So thank you so much, Dr. Shailesh, for being so committed to helping us with this webinar. Thank you so much.
And
Yes.
thank you very much from me also as AMWI president. And I think when Gauri told me that you will be available and you will enlighten all our delegates are coming in large number, and I think everybody wants to actually seriously focus on this issue and learn something and take the knowledge home. So thank you very much, Dr. Shailesh Moite.
So our next, let's move on the next speaker. It's a great pleasure to introduce Professor Dr. Suchitra Pandit ma'am. Everybody knows her, and I think, but basically, madam is a consultant at Department of OBGYN, Surya Group of the hospitals in Mumbai. She was a Foxy representative to FIGO Elect 2628, Foxy representative to SAFOG 2024 to 26. It's a big biodata. Also, ma'am is a member of FIGO Ethics Committee 2628. She's an associate member of the FIGO Ethics Committee
Rajeshri,
2426.
thank
It's a
you.
big. She has many of the accolades. The whole India knows about her academics and everything of this. And it will be a great pleasure to listen you, ma'am, on recognizing and supporting victims in the gynecology clinic, which we daily face all these problems, and it will be a good to learn from so many things from you, ma'am. Stage is yours.
Yeah, can I just share my slides?
Yeah, please.
I'd just like to say that Suchitra has been working with adolescents in Dharavi for a long time, and she has really got first-hand experience of dealing with children and adolescents.
First of all, let me say thank you very much to the entire team, Mumbai Obs and Gynae Society and the Association of Medical Women in India, who joined together to unite to end the digital violence against all women and girls. And I think it's a very, very apt topic because nobody has thought of it before. So I would like to congratulate Dr. Mandakini, Megh, Dr. Purnima, Dr. Gauri, because she was the one who was, in touch with me. And of course, the MOGS team of Dr. Kedar Ganla and Dr. Rajendra Sankpal. So I think great, because I think we need more such topics now, because we know that this is a reality. And let me move on to the next. And of course, hello to Rajeshri for the kind introduction. So recognizing and supporting victims in the gynecology clinic, we've heard so much from expert, and I was tuned into Anuja Gulati's topic and the previous speaker. I was just hearing all that they were talking about. But we know that today the technology facilitated abuse, which is going on very, very commonly due to the smartphones and other internet connected devices. And these are unfortunately harming individuals. And due to the COVID, I would say this proliferation has started because that's the time people got more and more used to this particular technology. And these forms of abuse, everybody has said before, they're on the rise. And the perpetrators using digital technologies such as the GPS tags and device spyware tools, because they're trying to monitor and control individuals. And unfortunately, the vulnerable individuals, most likely women, girls, and older people, frequently perceive medical settings as a place of safety, and thus we as a healthcare professional have a role to provide both medical and psychosocial care, and we must try to safeguard them. But unfortunately, too much of attention has not been paid to this TFA, that is the technology facilitated abuse. So it is increasing, we know that. But in the Refuge, which is a UK large domestic violence charity, they stated that 72% of service users were experiencing abuse through technology. And currently, if you look at it, clinicians receive very little training in digital safeguarding, despite regular consults with groups impacted by these harms. And it is because of there is a lack of awareness, there is inadequate safeguarding guidance, and this is what limits the care that we can offer to the patients. Now, see, clinicians, we are also tech savvy, but you cannot have the tech savviness of all the levels. We cannot be totally literate. So therefore, we must understand basics of how technology mediated harm can manifest, and this is absolutely important. And we must have safeguarding protocols. So all the office bearers of AMI, AMWI, of FOXI, of MOGS, of RCOG should get together and start laying down protocols so that practitioners can access these resources when necessary. Quickly, I know these terms have been dealt with, but all of you all have heard about the technology facilitated abuse, which has come in through GPS, the children's toys, smart locks, thermostats, security cameras, and these abusers misuse. They connect these devices to monitors and harass and isolate and otherwise harm a victim. Cyber stalking is one of the commonest forms of violence, and this is basically they try to include behaviors of surveillance, monitoring, repeated contact, and impersonation. And technology acts as a facilitating force in stalking. Cyberbullying, we have heard of it because we know that they can bully a victim socially, psychologically, and physically. But doxing is something we don't know a lot about, but this is basically publicly searching and consequently publishing private information that can be used to identify or intimidate someone. This happens typically in cases of celebrities. And again, sextortion, this is a thing which young girls, college going girls are getting. And we saw that movie Drishyam was again all about the sextortion, how the girl gets completely blackmailed. And sexting, again, a term which is used to describe voluntary act of sending and receiving sexually explicit text messages, photographs, or videos. This is again common. Again, these deep fake videos, they are so worrisome. Recently, we know the tiger who came and shot the man, and the second deep fake said that the tiger came and had a drink with the particular person he had shot. So the deep fake videos can be so real. Trolling, very, very common. Spoofing is something which we don't know much about, but this is when you're actually hiding one's actual phone number so that one thinks that it is another phone number which is coming. Though true caller ID sometimes also is not able to detect this. Impersonation, again, using somebody else's account. This is very, very common. And I think we must start reporting these crimes. And GPS monitoring, I think we all know about the GPS monitoring. And of course, the non-consensual image sharing. This is the typical revenge pornography, very common in the young people, particularly young girls. They're, the boyfriends ask them to expose, and then they use this particular video to keep on blackmailing them. So what can we do as an organization, and how can we help in our gynecology clinic? Obviously, our staff need to be sensitized and trained. We have to update the clinical protocols to include the digital harms, give a nice and safe private consultation environment, provide clear pathways for referral to the specialist support services, and recognize. And recognition is important. For that, we have to be sensitive, because in super busy clinics, you can easily miss out. But even if you train your juniors, they can pick up people who are having digital abuse, because this is eventually an extension of intimate partner violence. Key signs and methods of digital abuse: surveillance and abusers using GPS trackers. Many a times in the clinics, you'll find the patients come and talk and they say, can I put my husband's phone on, because he wants to listen to all the conversation. Others, he will give me a hell of a time when I go home. I say, but you're capable of saying, ma'am, please let me just allow. And then you'll have that man who is actually growling and asking you questions. My answer to that is, you want to come, please come with your wife. You're very busy, then I cannot include you in my conversation. And I tell them to switch that phone off. But many a times this does happen. So coercive control is when the abuser accessing the victim's social media and email account without permission and demanding passwords. Isolation and harassment. This is so sad. Young girls are getting absolutely unwanted sexually explicit messages. There is public shaming online, and these girls actually start believing that this is going to, they have a lot of psychological trauma because of this. Again, these victims may present with physical signs like anxiety, lack of sleep, self-harm ideation, and ongoing digital harassment can be an absolute, can also make them go into suicidal tendencies. So the patients who seem very anxious, very distracted, very hesitant to speak openly, especially if the abuser is present or if they believe the conversation is being monitored. So you can make out from that behavior itself, and you are absolutely okay to tell that person to wait outside and talk to your patient in confidence. So the support strategies, most important, as Dr. Anuja Gulati mentioned, is we have to give them a safe environment where you're going to give them private consultation, and you're going to empower them with the knowledge as well as assure them some kind of a safety. So a safe, calm and private environment. The accompanying person should be asked to stay out. Be mindful that sometimes a patient's personal phone or device may be compromised. So they may be using some kind of a clinic provided or a secure communication method. And sometimes practitioners remove electronic devices from the consulting room when there is a sensitive consultation going on, because that is a temporary solution to circumventing the risks of device spyware. But remember that any of these vulnerable positions, if you feel they are really in a bad situation, move them to a safer location. And therefore they should be able to confide in us and tell us how to, the health practitioners should know how to screen for the presence of the GPS technologies or the electronic surveillance. This is something which we lack. Universal education, that is called as the Q's, confidentiality, universal education, empowerment, support. So your staff basically should be polite. Empathetic communication goes without saying. Look out for the body language and document and evidence gathering. If you have this written down, you at least know how you can actually go take screenshots or record your interaction if the patient is ready for that. And then plan, what do you exactly want to do? And in this situation, apart from informing the police, there are cyber cafes and cyber spaces in all the police stations today. So we can actually tell them, but we must have some evidence, and we must try to make sure that we can keep this girl somewhere safe. Difficult, but we must know where they can leave for a shelter. Now, referral services are all built in, but not in our Indian clinics. In the UK, they definitely have it. But I think, Dr. Mandakini Megh, now you are an international person. We must do something for our country. We must have these referrals to specialized domestic violence services, legal aid, social workers, mental health supports. And these organizations can offer expert guidance on technology safety measures, such as using anonymous networks or specialized anti-stalker software. And staff training, again and again, I'm telling you, because sometimes the staff can also be very, very rude. And all the clinics need clear institutional protocols and policies that specifically address digital harms, which are currently often outdated. So at present, coming to the last two slides, there is very little research into the manifestation and the risks of technology facilitated abuse in our clinical environments. We are now learning more and more about it. So the experts should come together and have a greater understanding of the links between the digital risk factors and the patient outcomes, it is important for us clinicians to provide effective and timely care. We should all be alert and help our colleagues and patients if there is a problem. We cannot be insensitive, because tomorrow you may be in the situation. And remember, we are talking of clinics, but these are also, there are also women at home, there are also women out there in colleges, in schools, and elder women and elder people at home who could be, unfortunately, absolutely in a vulnerable position. So friends, congratulations to all of you for getting this whole idea together. And please get together and have these protocols. We have so many experts in this group, and I'm sure they will be able to guide us better. Thank you so much.
Ma'am,
Thanks.
Suchitra ma'am, it was very
Yes.
informative, very enlightening, and straight from the experiences and straight from the heart. And those, words of wisdom definitely will help everyone. And really grateful to have you on this platform. And we are all, very delighted to know all these things on the
Thank you.
very
Thank you.
nice topic. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so
very
much. Thank you, Gauri, once
much.
again.
Thank you.
So thank you, Suchitra ma'am, for getting us through the journey, because that's really important. When you have a patient sitting in front of you, you don't know what exactly we need to get through, how we need to sensitize our staff, and how we need to be sensitized. We don't know. So many times, even when we don't even know, our conversations are getting recorded with our patients. But yeah, this is a digital world, and we need to just get more smarter, I guess. So thank you once more. And so Varna Shinde ma'am is stuck with some police case. So she is into some investigation. She will be joining us soon. So we move on to our another important session on an experience sharing session, and we have a dynamic leader, professor and head of unit, Dr. Purnima Satoskar ma'am, to take us through this whole experience-based session. And she is the professor and head of unit of St. GS Medical College and Wadia Maternity Hospital, the head of fetal medicine fellowship MUHS Wadia Hospital, consultant at Jaslook Hospital and Research Center. She is the chairperson of AICC RCOG West Zone, secretary, the ISPAT, president, Association of Medical Women in India, Mumbai branch.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Gauri. I think that last one is very important here, that I'm AMWI Mumbai branch president. And this session actually is a sort of an interactive session, and it is an experience sharing session. Let me just share my presentation.
Yes, ma'am, I will leave it to you to introduce all our guests for today.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. I'll, they are from diverse fields. They are all experts in the diverse fields. So I thought I will introduce them as they come along. So we have a lot of experts with us, and I will introduce them as I speak to each expert. So I think we have covered all of this, and we need to have experts who are going to, who are from education and who will tell us how to report it, who know the laws, and we need to also have a multi-pronged attack to stop this violence against women and girls, which includes financial empowerment, widespread awareness in the community, and social change. So let me start off with Dr. Geeta Balsarkar, who's a professor and head Wadia Maternity Hospital and GS Medical College. And she has been the editor for Foxy Journal, vice president of MOGS and ISOPAB. And she has been the former president of AMWI and Menopause Society. Welcome, Geeta. Since you're an undergraduate and a postgraduate teacher for many years, let me start by asking you how we can incorporate the training of postgraduates to handle violence against women and girls in the medical curriculum. How can we train them to recognize and handle this problem?
Actually, the training and to recognize, and this has to start right from the undergraduate days when they join the medical field. The knowledge about violence against women and development of skills should be a formal, mandatory part of the undergraduate medical education, and it should, instead of being an optional or an ad hoc topic, it should be a formal curriculum inclusion. The topic of violence against women and gender-based violence should include different forms of abuse like physical, physical, sexual, emotional, their health impacts, like what could happen if patients come with these problems, and the ethical and the legal aspects of care. So this where it should be explained to them right in their undergraduate days. They should be made sensitive to these things right in the undergraduate days, and the various forms in which the patients can present if they have any form of the gender based violence, that also should be taught to them. So the legal and the ethical aspects is covered to some extent in the forensic medicine, but in integrated curriculum that is there nowadays, it should be taught right from the undergraduate days itself.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And what kind of teaching and learning methods will be useful to explain this to the students?
Actually, it can be in the form of storytelling, like case studies or problem based learning. We can tell them stories of how some patient presented, and then on further inquiry, it was found out to be this. So we can use even video based, problem based learning, case studies to help the students identify the problem, reflect on the potential solutions, and develop the clinical reasoning skills. Ethical and legal framework, we have to address the ethical dilemmas that arise, such as the principles of confidentiality and safety, along with the legal duties of a doctor in reporting violence against women.
What about the postgraduate students?
Yeah, the postgraduate students are the one who directly deal with patients who are very important to take history taking. Therefore, it should be embedded into their existing rotations. They have to integrate the topic into relevant rotations like OBGYN, emergency medicine, psychiatry, and primary care. This makes the topic a routine part of medical practice rather than being an isolated subject. And it has to be a mandatory training. Make the training a mandatory component of postgraduate education to ensure all future physicians are equipped with the necessary skills. And there has to be an interpersonal or an interprofessional collaboration. Like many times they feel, oh, this is not pertaining to gynec, it doesn't come in my field, why should I deal with it? We have to expose students to learning professionals that involve collaborations with social services, legal professionals, community support agencies, reflecting the real world management of the violence against women cases.
So I think we are really not doing this at the moment. They are all the time, they are busy monitoring patients, delivering, at least in gynec and obstetrics, they are just making up their sleep and all that. So we really need to make some time, maybe even it could be 15 days or 1 month, where they regularly interact with all the stakeholders here. And
sensitization is very, very important. Sensitization, they have to be sensitive to this particular topic.
So again, for postgraduates, what teaching learning methods do you suggest, Geeta?
We can have interactive experimental methods. They are more effective in building empathy and skills than the traditional didactic lectures. Clinical simulations using standardized patients who are actors. They are trained to portray a patient's illness in safe educational environment to practice sensitive communication, history taking, assessment, and management skills without the fear of harming a real patient. Then we can also use survivor narratives. Actually, they teach more than anything else. Incorporate direct testimonies from survivors, either in person or through videos. This is highly effective in fostering empathy and improving understanding of the victim's experience and the barriers they face in leaving an abusive situation.
So we have only clinical cases actually in our curriculum, but in the MRCOG curriculum, you do have these actors, and some of the scenarios are only pertaining to things like this, like abuse. So I think
किती आहे ते? Hello?
Yes.
So other teaching and learning methods are structured debriefing. If they have seen some patient and they have missed probably clues to the violence against women, we can do a debriefing after simulations also, after hearing narratives. Structured discussion with instructors, they are crucial to foster critical thinking and help students reflect on their emotional responses, biases in performance. Practical experience clinical rotations that you have already spoken about, they must be sent for rotations to provide opportunities for observation and interaction in relevant clinical settings such as anti-violence centers, emergency rooms, support groups, etc. But they have to remember that they are going to actively listen and have a non-judgmental approach. There is a very big role of teachers in fostering empathy. We have to have a non-judgmental approach. Train students in sensitive, empathetic, and non-judgmental communication to build trust and discourage disclosure.
And I think all sort of loose talk should be avoided. That happens quite often because I think they are stressed out. So it's like a stress buster. They will joke about something. They will, breach that confidentiality, and we have to really. What are the red flags that we can teach them to recognize in the OPD?
Yeah, they are sometimes seen very commonly in the OPD, and the patients themselves or the students themselves will remember that there are signs of anxiety, there are signs of fear. There is some fear, lack of attentiveness. They don't give you eye contact, and if you just ask them to repeat what you have said, they'll not be able to repeat. They avoid to talk. They are brought to the hospital, they just come and sit there, and they are not willing to talk at all. They avoid, they don't give you an eye contact, they don't give you any history. They wear scarves or long sleeves in the warm weather to hide some scars. They are very submissive, bringing the partner to all the appointments, reluctant to follow the medical advice. They don't follow your medical advice because sometimes a partner doesn't buy the medicines, they don't allow them to take the medicines. Many of them are unemployed. They are hesitant to answering direct questions if you ask them that did somebody hit you? Did you have a problem? And frequent appointment missing. They miss the appointment, missed appointments, easily intimidated. You can feel that they are coming to trying to tell you something, but they are not having the courage to tell you something, and they get easily intimidated and said, "Nahi, nahi, kuch nahi." And no support network other than any other significant supports they don't have. So these are all the behavioral signs and symptoms that we normally see in a patient. More than 1/3 of these patients will be having, domestic violence or gender-based violence. So we have to be very sensitive to these signs and symptoms.
And the normal reaction of the resident would be just to shout at them, "Why did you miss your visit? Don't you understand what, they will not go beyond that." So I think.
नहीं जल्दी बोलो
Yeah.
क्या हो रहा है जल्दी बोलो
Yeah.
जल्दी बोलो. They just don't give you eye contact at all.
Yeah. And then there are some husbands who are extra sweet in your presence. They come with them all the time. And there are, repeated attacks of slipping in the bathroom and getting hurt and all. They keep giving that. So then you become suspicious. So I think we also need to help the students to challenge biases, because sometimes, especially the male students, we'll have to educate them. Depending on the background they have come from, they may have inherent biases. So how would you do that?
Yeah, we have to address the personal biases. Training should help students recognize and overcome their own stereotypes and personal views about gender-based violence. That itna to chalta hai. Many times they think that itna to chalta hai. It's okay to shout. It's okay to shout at patients, or it is okay to shout at colleagues, which can often be influenced by societal or cultural norms. Then we have tailored approaches. We have to acknowledge gender differences among medical students in their empathy and a comfort level, and tailor training programs to address the specific need and characteristics of both male and the female students. We have to be sensitive to both ways gender-based violence. We are seeing even the other way around. Females treating males badly is also seen. So that also we have to be ready to accept, and we have to train our students to approach that also properly.
What is gender sensitivity in the OPD?
Gender sensitivity is the act of being sensitive to the way people think about their gender. Everybody thinks strongly about themselves, and therefore we have to be very sensitive about that. It ensures that people rely less on the outdated views on what are the roles of men and women. The idea of integrating gender sensitivity into medicine is to ensure that women and other genders, they get better health care and diagnosis. Usually when a man falls sick, he immediately receives medical attention, but when a woman falls sick, she does not receive immediate medical attention. Therefore, the health seeking behavior of men and women are different, especially if she's not employed. She doesn't have money to pay for the consulting. She doesn't have somebody to accompany her to the clinic. So these are all the various gender-based problems that women have, and we have to be very, very sensitive to these issues.
And what should be the key content areas, when we are teaching them about violence?
So it has to be public health and human rights issue. We have to frame violence against women as a significant public health and a human rights issue. It is not only the patient's problem. Many times they say, oh, patient ka personal problem hai. Patients have personal problem. No, it's not a personal problem. It is a public health and a human rights issue, and it is not private or legal matter. We have to know that there are root causes and stereotypes in every families, which include we have gender discrimination, patriarchy, societal norms to address address the underlying causes of violence and challenge the students' own stereotypes and biases. Health consequences are very great with gender-based violence, so that we have to remember. And we have to, there are format of the curriculum is there. This is the format of the curriculum which is used to train the students on the gender-based violence, into how to introduce them to the topic, how to, get them to do their cases, how to take the cases, and how to, explain everything to them, how to have a short presentation enriched with slides about the interpersonal violence, and how the students react to it, how they are taught to be, very not very, to one or the other, not to be partial or biased to one or the other, and how to handle it and how to have a closure. This is very, very important, and there's a format of the curriculum that all the medical students, undergraduate, postgraduate students need as a part of their curriculum.
So I think I will skip this, but you have put some very nice resources, and I think I would encourage our postgraduates also to go through this, because we need to be aware where we should be reporting. Thank you, Geeta. It was very informative. Now going on to our next expert, Dr. Ashwini Bhalerao Gandhi. She's a consultant gynecologist at Hinduja Hospital, Mahim and Khar, Mumbai. Chairperson of CIMP Examination Committee, Assistant Editor of Jogi, National Joint Treasurer of Indian Menopause Society, and President Mumbai Menopause. She has been the president of Mumbai Menopause Society, vice president of FOGSI, and Ashwini has always been very conscious of her role in society. She has done many programs for education of health education, and she's a very good speaker even on television, radio. We have seen her over the years. Welcome, Ashwini. And just tell us something about preventive education on digital violence for young women and adolescent girls. How is it important?
Thank you, Purnima, for introducing me. And first, let me thank Dr. Gauri and, of course, my very dear friend, Dr. Mandakini Megh, for inviting me here. And I remember our days when Gauri and me, we had done one audiovisual slideshow, and the title was Smart Diet for Teens. So that time we felt that only we should not talk about the reproductive health, but we should also talk about diet and how it helps in studying and even in scholastic performance, etc. And that was a very different type of slideshow. I think, Gauri, now the time has come that we have to now have one more slideshow where we talk about the digital violence. Coming to my own memories, when the topic was given to me, I started remembering myself that in my childhood, whether I have undergone anything of any this violence, I remember our house was the only house where there was a telephone. That time, many years back, everybody didn't have even a landline. And so many neighbors, they used to come to our house to have, pick up their phone calls, their relatives used to call. And particularly, I remember one person used to, once I think he said, "Who is this?" And I said, "I'm Ashwini." And then every day he started calling and, saying, "Oh, are you Ashwini? Are you Ashwini?" So I was so scared. I didn't know that I don't know this person. What do I do? And then I told my mother that, there is somebody who rings up and he asks for my name. So then she said that you don't talk anything, you give the phone to me. So next day I told my mother that, see, that person is ringing up again. So then she took the call, and then I think she took other steps. And I remember that I was very scared that, how do I handle this? I didn't know at all. Then when I again see a few years down the line, when the Facebook for us, that it was very new, and we were just adding friends. We didn't know that whom to add, whom not to add, and we just wanted few friends so that we have a list. And suddenly in the chat box there was some comments and inquiry that, are you a doctor? I want to ask you some personal questions. And that fellow started asking me something about sexual act and this and that, and I was very, very much I didn't know what to do. Means I just felt that yes, he may be needing some help. And ultimately I realized that this is bullying going on. This is what digital violence is about. And then I blocked that person. But still I was worried that, see, now I have blocked this person, whether he will do something, he will again physically come somewhere. So I was very worried even that time, though I was an adult. So we can imagine that if this is the situation of doctors and who are mature and who are adults, what must be happening to girls who really don't know anything. But maybe nowadays there are cyber security classes being taken, and these classes are really necessary. that how
Hello.
they can protect themselves. And the violence may be from unknown people or known people. So somebody in the family
Hello.
itself,
हाँ बोल.
some brother or some other distant relative also may take advantage of the situation and bully the child. So it is similar that, what is said is that some individuals who can't express themselves vocally or in front of you, suppose somebody is standing in front of you, you may not be able to say something, but if, through this channel, media channel and social media channel, they become very aggressive and they do something which in real life they will not be able to. So this is a very different type of violence. I think all of us are facing, not only the adolescent girls and all. And we are written here, there may be online harassment, cyberbullying, stalking, tracking, and image sharing, which makes you very uncomfortable. And this may eventually disturb your personal life, your studies, and it may become a big problem if they don't know how to solve this.
So why do you think young women are more vulnerable, Ashwini?
Yes, of course, they will be more vulnerable because they keep on being online. Maybe 24 hours they are online. Maybe we are not so much online, but the girls and boys, they are usually online. And usually they can be targeted because it is a very easy target. The girls who are online all the time or through media, it's a very easy target. And they do not know that it is wrong for somebody to bully them. So they do not even know that this is a crime or this is not to be accepted. And there are so many ways to say no to this bullying. So all this, they should be told maybe by adults like parents, teachers, and of course doctors. I think they come in the picture not immediately. Immediately the near and dear ones will be there available for help. So that they should understand.
What are the common forms of digital violence?
So our speakers also have explained to us that
Yes.
this violence can be through messages, through threats, some images, private content can be shared, or there may be even blackmailing that I will tell everybody you were talking to me like this, and everybody will come to know, your parents will come to know, and maybe they will threatening. So many, it can take a very dangerous turn. It may just start with some like cracking jokes or just sharing some personal information, but it can go to that level. And really, these girls, I think they need guidance and education that where they have to stop, where they should feel that no, this is not okay, this is something wrong, which is has to be told to your parents or teachers or anybody else whom they trust. So that trustworthy person has to be there, definitely.
And I think they have to go with their gut feeling. For a long time, they are uneasy about it, but they're not sure. They feel I'm suspecting unnecessarily. They don't come up and then they fall into the trap. So
Yes,
if they tell early, then somebody can help them.
And one must remember that it may not be only from a boy to a girl. It can be a girl to girl also.
Yes.
So even that, I think they have to realize that it may be any way it can happen, and that it is very sensitive age, and they may not be able to draw a line that what is good and what is not good. There is a lot of a gray zone, I would say, and that gray zone they have to pick up. And as Dr. Geeta also said, that there may be fear, anxiety, and receiving strange links and messages, unknown logins, and password reset should be done. And definitely they should report the post. So coming out and asking for help is very much important.
Yes, so I think this was already told to us how we can have strong and unique passwords, enable a two-step verification, and not share any personal details. Even the DP, people go on changing it. Every day they will change their DP. So people come to know where they are, what they are doing. So a lot of personal details are shared by the young people.
Because they get carried away by the likes they get.
Yes.
And the comments they receive. But they don't know that the same person ultimately can go for a digital violence type of behavior. So maybe that person will get encouragement because maybe she's having those DPs changed frequently, So though we say that it is their right, that to share something on social media, but also that can be misused by the other person. That
Yeah.
I think they do not understand.
Especially, I
We
think
have
this
to keep
point,
the
avoid
profile
posting.
private. We
Yeah.
should not accept friend requests from unknown people, especially if they are hiding their identity. They are not showing their photograph or they are not revealing their true identity. I think it is very dangerous to accept such friend request. And immediate reaction should be to block suspicious people. And definitely they should not expose at their live location. And also they can keep this, they take what you say, photographs of that chatting. Otherwise it may be just gone next time, and then they do not have the proof that exactly that person what he had shared with her or something. So it is very important that once they suspect something, they can try and keep the proof. That is very important.
And how do you protect the devices? I think that also must be taught to them.
Definitely there are antivirus tools, etc. And one should not unnecessarily download some unknown apps. And the phone also should be secured with the PIN or biometric availability. So all this is important. So for safety of the girl and even the boy, I would say even the boy. And they should know about their legal rights, that there is protection against online abuse. This IP Act 2000. There is IPC provision for cyber stalking and harassment, and they can report by sending even emails, etc., or dial. So many helpline numbers are there. So if there is no immediate help available, the parents are away, there is nobody in the house, they do not know what is going to happen, and there are some threats coming up, they should know the helpline numbers. Definitely, I think that much parents can do, that if there is any trouble, immediately if the parents or somebody is not available, they should know the helpline numbers.
Yeah, I think it should be saved on their phones so that they can immediately dial it. Yeah, so let's go on now. How to build digital confidence. I really like this term which you used.
Yeah, even animals have their own instinct, whether, and we have to use it. We don't use it. We feel that we are very smart, and then that gut feeling, the way, what word you use, Purnima, that gut feeling has to be there. And as soon as they feel that something is going wrong, I think they should know what next step to take. That the parents should teach them, and the teachers should teach them. And of course, it has gone to some physical abuse or something, then definitely the doctors are involved. But I think that is extreme. This is what we are saying is the just digital abuse starting. It may ultimately lead to violence, physical violence, or sexual abuse later on. So we have to have safety net for them. Definitely, they should have a safety net.
And as you have mentioned, empowerment begins with education. So it's very important that we start in their school days itself. Now, next, I'd like to welcome Dr. Rajeshree Katke. She's MD in psychiatry, and she's a consultant psychiatrist and psycho-oncologist in Nashik, Maharashtra. And she is in practice right from 2014. And she has a lot of experience, even mentally challenged women. And she's done a lot of work to help women who are having mental problems. Welcome, Dr. Rucha.
Good evening, everyone. And it is a proud privilege to be included amongst the who's who in the medical field today. So thank you so much, Gauri ma'am. And I would just like to begin regarding the mental health impact. Mostly it would be an experience sharing session.
Yes, tell me, what is the immediate impact when this has happened for the first time? Say it's a young girl, 13, 14-year-old girl.
Yes. So actually, especially in psychology, there is something called as a theory in which there is a shattered assumption of females, that whatever you think about yourself, whatever are your core assumptions, core beliefs about the world and about yourself, that it is a good place, the people are good. This is the belief system on which a human being works. But when they are exposed to digital violence, these core beliefs are shattered, and that is what gives rise to this guilt and this fear, hypervigilance, trust issues. These are the things which result in immediate impact. So if we see a person who has experienced digital violence immediately after they have experienced it, we may not be able to see the specific signs and symptoms of depression or anxiety or insomnia or post-traumatic stress, but just simple symptoms like your hypervigilance, having panic attacks, not being able to sleep, having guilt, self-blame, that something probably I did something wrong and that is why I was a victim of this violence. These are the immediate impacts that can happen. Another thing I would like to say here is that not just the victim, but even the partner and family members are also impacted very, very severely in these cases, especially when it is a married woman having a child. The children are also impacted if they come if they're just able to see these morphed images of their mother or sexually explicit images of their mother. It is very traumatizing to the children. So we must keep in mind to also include them during therapy or during sessions when we talk to the victim as well as the family members.
And what do we tell them? First thing we tell them is that it is not your fault, I guess, right?
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. So we need to make them realize that it is not their fault, so that we reduce the self blame and the guilt that they are experiencing, and that it is absolutely. So I would just give you an example of the actress Girija Oak. So
Yes.
very recently, her morphed images had come up, and she talked about it very openly. So most important it is, you need to accept that yes, I am a victim. You need to open up about it, because there are so many times that these people don't open up, and those are the ones who land up with us in the mental health field, because they experience symptoms, but they are not able to share openly that they have been victims of digital violence. So it is necessary to open up, it is necessary to accept, and your point of view of looking at this digital violence is very important here, because it affects your coping strategies also.
Yes. So unfortunately, after she spoke about it, she was trolled, and then she spoke about the
Yes,
trolling. So it
yes,
goes
yes,
on and
yes.
on. Yeah.
Exactly. And it remains on the internet for life, no? So that's what she said, that, my child is now 12 years old. Now, sometime he is going to also see it, and just imagine the impact he's going to have.
Mm. So what are the coping strategies in these victims? How do you help them to cope?
Yeah, so coping strategies, when we talk about, there are positive as well as negative coping strategies. Most of the negative coping strategies are where they avoid it. They don't accept that they are victims. Sometimes they become very aggressive. Sometimes they turn to substance use, and they blame others. They are not willing to accept, and they remain with this guilt for their entire lives sometimes. We have had cases where people have had this guilt for few years now. This was a case in COVID, that this because of all the online sessions that would happen in COVID, this lady was exposed to some sexual explicit content by a person, her co-worker actually, and he had no remorse about it. She blocked him on the phone and internet and everything, and she tried to report him in at the place of work, but unfortunately it didn't work. And then this lady started experiencing guilt, that probably I was dressing up in the wrong way, and that is why he did this or something, what I have done. And she kept it to herself, she didn't talk, and then subsequently she landed up with depression. She finally left the job because she couldn't cope, and then she came to us, and then we found out that this is a result of this digital violence. So acceptance is important, and when they come to us, the coping strategies that we actually help them understand is that there are so many ways. There is emotional based coping, and then there is problem based. So problem based, all the legal experts and our cyber criminal experts, they would be the better judges to talk about it. But then when we are talking about emotional focused coping, we need to identify the core emotions and the core belief lives that have been affected. Sometimes, they feel wrongfully about their body image. Sometimes they feel ashamed. Sometimes there is lack of confidence. There is guilt. All these emotions need to be identified, and then the proper therapy needs to be used to rechannelize their coping in the proper way.
Absolutely. Unless we do that, they can have some long-term consequences, and it can even they can even take some extreme steps. So,
Yes, yes.
yeah. So
So
thank
it needs to be identified, ma'am, at the absolute right time. Otherwise, we have been reading right, left, and center about people who have been committing suicide because of this digital violence, which was not addressed at the correct time.
And the
So,
stigma has to be removed so that they come forward.
yes, yes, yes.
What
And
about
so I would
elderly people? What about elderly people? They are also facing digital violence and they don't even
oh,
know
yes.
how to cope up with these things.
Yes, yes. They are so new to this technology that they don't even know, what to say, whom to say it to. So there was this lady whose son actually introduced her to technology, saying that now that you have retired, you can start using Facebook. Just as the previous speaker was saying, that she was just introduced to Facebook and then she started chatting with somebody. It was a very friendly chat initially, and then subsequently it became very sexually explicit in nature. And this lady got so scared. She was a housewife, so she was never exposed to such kind of chatting or talking or things like that. And then she became so isolated. She just stopped communicating with on the phone or everything. And then that person was threatening her, I have images of you and I'll do this and I'll do that. And the son had to bring her to us, and then while talking, then she said that this is what has happened to me, and that is why I'm not communicating properly.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all the real life examples. Now we come to the documentation and the medical legal aspects, for which Dr. Bhalchandra Chikhalkar, he is the head of forensic medicine department at JJ Hospital and GMC. Yes, sir. Welcome you, sir. And you can see that his list of degrees does not fit in one sentence. Got a lot of degrees. He was the superintendent of GT Hospital during the pandemic, for which he was awarded by the government of Maharashtra, chairman of anti-ragging committee, and he has opened the first transgender ward of Maharashtra at GT Hospital. So this is also one of the important things for which we have to sensitize the people. So, sir, how can we document various forms of digital violence?
Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Actually, it is very important that documentation part and preserving of the evidence is important. One thing is that the electronic gadgets, whatever we have, we don't have to disturb those. If possible, you can take a screenshot, don't switch off even, and immediately that has to be sealed and handed over to the police. That is the cyber cell. Further investigations will be done by the forensic laboratory cyber division. And whenever you are taking and handing over this, the chain of custody is important. In presence of which person you have taken, those persons' name should be reported to the police, because many times in the court of law, in presence of whom these gadgets have been sealed and handed over to the police is asked. And also, after reporting, the if the victim he she personally visits to the this hospital, then her examination and whatever history she tells, that is to be written in detail, and examination findings, and all these reports should be immediately submitted to the investigating officer.
And what kind of evidence is acceptable?
Evidence, whatever the survivor they have submitted, the evidence they have brought, those have to be immediately handed over to the police. That is one thing which is important, crucial evidence, which further police will investigate through the cyber cell division of the forensic science laboratory. And second is the routine examination, whatever we do. If she reports personally, all those reports have to be submitted.
So is there any real life example that you would like to share with us where you were the expert?
I cannot disclose the
No.
case as
Disclose the
such,
name, but
but yeah. But we have come across certain cases where the electronic gadgets or mobile, these were handled by the survivor themselves, and in between, before handing it over, it has been tried by many people. So many times it is difficult to retrieve the evidence.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is better not to do anything with that device, and as such, as it is, that is to be handed over.
So it's important for us to tell them that if
Yeah.
somebody reports it to us,
Yeah.
the first thing we have to warn them is not to disturb the device. Thank you very much, sir, for that point. I don't know if Mr. Paresh has joined us. Mr. Paresh?
Yes, ma'am, he has joined. He's joined, ma'am.
Let me welcome you, Mr. Paresh Chitnis. He's a government certified expert in question, documents, and signature verification, and a consultant for cyber security investigations and digital evidence cases. And he's also written 2 books. So he sounds like a cross between Sherlock Holmes and John Grisham to me. So I just wanted to ask you, sir,
Yes.
how can we report the digital violence as a victim? How can the victim do it, and as a doctor who discovers it for the first time?
Okay. So, good evening, all of you. So there are, when it comes to cyber crimes, there is a website for cyber crimes. You can just Google it. Reporting cyber crimes can be done on the website by governments, cybercrime.gov.in. There is a website you can register. But when it comes to violence against women, you can visit a special website which is specially created for crimes against women. So this website is ncw.gov.in, where this is for the Commission of Women. So this website is National Commission of Women. So this is specifically for reporting any crimes that are happening against women. So this is not limited to digital crimes, but specifically. So there are 2 things. One is reporting a cyber crime, and one is reporting a crime against women. So there's you can report the same thing at these 2 websites. So one gets reported as a cyber crime, and in one place it gets reported as a crime against women or children. So these are the 2 important sites of which the links have to be handy. Now, a suggestion here is like what you can do is, because as doctors you might come across these cases very often. You can create your account there on the website, because then you might not have that much of time in an emergency where you want to report something and then they are asking for your credentials, OTP, and all these things. So what you can do is you can create your account which is already there, so that you can quickly log in and submit your case there. So that is something that can save your time in times of emergency.
And is their response also equally quick? They respond quickly?
The response is quick. If you use the Nirbhaya link, the Nirbhaya call center, you can search for Nirbhaya call center. There the response is very quick. Like if you are looking for an emergency help, in case where you feel that a person is under threat and something can be done at that moment, it's not about reporting that thing. It is for getting a response. You can use the link for Nirbhaya call center. So you can just search for Nirbhaya call center, save that number. It's a small, there are various numbers. Like if you cannot connect on one number, you can connect on the others. And there are toll-free lines also. So these are the places where you can get help. From on the NCW site or the cybercrime reporting site, you can expect a response after 8 to 10 days. So what happens is, on the NCW site, when you report a case, later on, if your case is appropriate, if they find that it fits into the clauses or the sections under which they can take a case, then they will create your login and give it to you. On the cyber crime case, you can create your.
Thank you so much.
think,
This is very
very
informative.
Yes, ma'am, very nicely conducted.
Yeah, I just want to thank Megh, Madam, Dr.
Purnima?
Rajendra, Gauri, and Bhumika for all their efforts in getting this program together. And I think this is, this is what we need. We need all the organizations to come together, and there is no excuse for violence against women and girls. And this has to be really propagated, and awareness has to be raised. Thank you to all the faculty who participated and gave us valuable information.
Purnima,
So,
if you have 1 minute, can I just share one experience? And I
Sure,
would like
sure.
opinion. Years ago when I was working at a medical college and I had just gotten my promotion to a professor's post, and I was also contesting for the Foxy presidential elections. So I was in the process of writing to all the office bearers, and just then one of the very senior professors from another college, and who was also in a past president of Foxy, called me up. This was at about 8 o'clock in the morning. He says, Suchitra, what mails are you sending to everybody? I said, sir, these are just information that I'm contesting. He's saying, no, just open your mailbox. I'm forwarding that mail to you, read it. And in that mail, there was a lot of rubbish written, and it had gone to nearly 200 people in Foxy. And my email ID, just one digit was changed. Like say my name is Suchipan. They had made it Suchitan instead of Suchipan. And he said, immediately you report it to your dean and report it to the cybercrime. And sir, I went to the cybercrime office at that time. They were located near JJ Hospital. So I went there and I spent nearly 2 to 3 hours with them. And you won't believe, in the next 8 days, they found out from where it was sent. They also gave 3 names, probabilities of 3 names who could have sent it. But the only thing was, when those names came forward and we matched the place, it was very surprising. It was sent from a portal of some other medical college. I won't name that medical college. And I took all this information. I went to the dean. I said, ma'am, now will you please tell me what to do? She's saying, listen, if you take action against this person, he will get arrested, because the cyber people said we will arrest him and we will give him a proper, the way we will do that. But, there will be consequences. So are you prepared for that? And I was just, on the verge of my elections. And the dean that time advised me, I think, Suchitra, you think because this person is doing it, he wants to harm your thing. So instead, you take a constructive step forward. You ignore this and you send a positive mail again to all the people whom he sent to you. You've got all the emails now because you've got the forwarded mail. So you write to all of them and tell them. But at that time, it was a little scary because, suddenly somebody writing like this. So I don't know, at such situations, many people are, in that situation. Should we expose this person because he may be of more nuisance value to us? So I don't know whether I did the right thing or the wrong thing. Anyway, all the friends
No,
who
I
I
think
Can I also say one word?
Ma'am, there is one question for Mr. Chitnis actually that has come from many
Yeah, I know. And
viewers.
I also wanted to ask him, yes.
So how do we know that our email or our mobile is not hacked? Because sometimes there are women will say that there were 3 days and I didn't know my mobile was already hacked and somebody was already doing some monetary transactions, sending pictures from my mobile. So how do we ensure that our mobiles and our laptops are safe?
Okay. So if there are certain things that happen when there is a app which is running in background. Like if you download something from a suspicious, curious place, like somebody sending you a APK file and asking you to download some app or something, you should not do that. You should download it only from the Play Store. But if you have by mistake downloaded something from some wrong sources, that app might be working on the background, and you will see that suddenly your data is being consumed more. Sometimes you might find that your mobile is getting heated up extra, like you're not doing any activity, but your mobile is getting heated up. So these are the cases where the app is trying to work in the background. So there you might find these things happening. But the safest thing to do is to delete any apps which you have not been using for last 3 months or something like that. Like if you are downloading some apps just for the purpose of travel or hotels or something, you can delete those apps when you are not requiring it. Because what happens is we don't update those apps, and sometimes criminals find some way to infest through that app, and we have not updated the security features that they have given. So because we don't need it. Now, in such cases, we are vulnerable. So don't keep any apps that you are not requiring. And if you are having any apps on your mobiles or laptops, you have to update them regularly. We feel that updating requires consumes a lot of data, so we don't update our apps. But sometimes when the app owners, developers, they realize that there is some security gap, they will release some update which will fill up that gap. And now when we are not updating, we are vulnerable. So keep updating your mobiles and keep updating the apps, and don't use don't keep apps which are not required.
Chitnis sir,
Yeah,
for these
I
financial aspects, we were in a Yashada and these cyber experts, they have come to us, the head of the Pune, and he said for this financial, you keep the another mobile
yes.
and for calling the another one. So he advises for the two one, so that one is
Yeah.
protected at
So that
that is
is a
what
very
they,
ideal
how
thing to do, but
ideal
then
thing to,
what happens is that is not feasible many a times. Like
yeah, sometimes.
nowadays we are
I
using UPI
yes.
and everything, so it's not feasible to use another mobile. So that becomes a little, although it is very ideal, but it is not.
Yeah, I know, but many people they are doing after losing the money for
Yeah,
that.
I have done
I
it.
would
Yes,
like to.
yes,
I have done it.
May I
I've
say,
not
may I
yes,
lost
say
yes.
money,
something?
but
May
Because
I hello? May
yes,
I
yes,
say
ma'am.
something for 1 minute?
Yes, ma'am, bilkul.
I would like to tell Mr. Chitnis that I usually examine the army people, army women quite a lot, and that I've been doing it for many years. So I got a message with all the police and everything, uniform and this, that, and the other, and they said, "Okay, we would like to send the women to your whatever." So I agreed to that, knowing that I had done it earlier many times. But then by the time they said the phone and all those things, they debited 25,000 from my account one, and then they said go to cyber complaint. So I went to 1930. I went to the police station, and they have done nothing about it. And this has
Yes.
happened that there is no response also. Ha ha, aa jayega. He is not here today. These are the things that
वो
we get.
आता ही
So
नहीं.
then what does one do?
So first thing is, like, if money has been deducted from your bank account and the transaction has not been initiated by you, and you have not given any OTP or something, or you have not shared any password, in that case, the first thing that you need to do is to go to the bank.
Bank.
So you have to contact the bank first instead of the police, because the bank can reverse the entry if that is in their control. Like, if you can convince them that the mistake has happened from the system, and you have not shared any OTP, no OTP was generated on your mobile, they can immediately check that, and they can reverse that entry by giving any reasons. The branch manager has that authority to reverse an entry immediately, saying that this was done wrongly, and that can be saved. If you first go to the police and then the police
Then they will send
refers
to
you
the
back to the bank, it is too late then. So although the first thing that you need to do is to report the case to the police,
And
the actual thing that you need to do is first to save or to get back the money is to go to the bank.
bank. And yeah, they have a form also you have to fill up. Without that
I
form,
filled
the
that form. I filled that form and
without that
everything.
form, police will not take it, and that will even with the consumer's court. You
Yeah, so
have to
that's a long process.
I think
It's a
this
very
is
long process.
this is
Anyway,
a very
information
this
that
is a very
these people are not
important
responsive in
discussion,
time,
but
and that's what.
now
Yeah,
this is
I'll
a
tell
very
you the
important
fact
discussion
about small cases that happen. Like, if you are losing 20,000, 25,000 rupees, from your point of view, that money can be a big amount, but from the police point of view, it's not a big case.
Yes.
Okay. So that's a fact. Like, for them, it's a like petty case that they keep getting such cases. And to verify whether you shared the OTP or you didn't share the OTP, it becomes a big hassle. But the first thing that we should focus on is to get the money back. And reporting is like to save other people from getting targeted by the same kind of people. So if you get such kind of spam calls, there is a provision on this cybercrime.gov.in where you can share that number, that I received a call from such number, and these people are trying to target the what they do is they will take all the data of the doctors from some directory or something, and they will start targeting the doctors. They understand, they have some modus operandi, they know that these people are busy in some times, and they will try to target them. So in such cases, you should report that number to the cybercrime.gov.in so that at least other people from the fraternity are saved from this.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chitnis, and thank
I
you,
think
Sadhuskar ma'am, for a wonderful discussion. Actually, Suvarna Shinde ma'am is still stuck with her case and some inquiry. So we don't have the police coming in at the moment,
yes,
like Mr. Chitnis said. So I think we will move ahead because now we are lacking time. So we have Dr. Mandakini Megh ma'am to to
pledge
give us a.
to give the pledge.
I think Rajendra
Dr.
wants to
Rajendra,
ask something. Dr. Rajendra wants to ask something.
Oh yes, he's raised his hand.
Yeah. And Anuja for a minute, then we will close the session.
Yes, even she has raised her hand.
Acha, oh, sir, Sandy.
Dr. Rajendra, you're muted.
No, I'm.
No, unmuted. Sir is unmuted.
Now,
Sir, voice.
Am I audible?
Yes.
No, it was if time permits, may I ask a question to Mr. Paresh?
Yes.
I'm
Yes, sir,
Dr.
please.
Sankpal, President of Mumbai OBGYN Society. It was a question many times. Everyone in the family, they download a particular app which they feel it is right for their use, say especially the AI app. And every app you enroll yourself as a person, and you give an email ID, you give your mobile number, similar mobile number. So can that be a threat? Because today's time, all the chat GPT and so many even online platforms, courses, you feel there, you are enrolling, so you enroll with a same email ID as well as the same for mobile number. So can there be a threat in future? Those apps can do anything.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that question, Sankpal sir. These cases have happened where there has been theft. Now, what some criminals do is they won't take data from your accounts. They will directly take data from some website where you are registered as a user, or some app where you have registered as a user. So a big amount of data gets leaked, especially the dating sites or sites where which are very casual, like they are not very serious site. So from there your data can get leaked. Now there is something called as temporary email IDs. So these email IDs can be used to create your account. So if those are not very serious accounts, they are not like your organization related or something, it's not very serious, just very casual app that you want to download some AI or some fun kind of activity. So what you can do is you can use these temporary email IDs where you can receive OTP. Now these, like for example, there is a website called as mailinator.com. So Mailinator will allow you to have an open inbox. Like I can create an inbox. I don't even have to create it. Like I can just give email ID as Rajendra@mailinator.com. And when I go to mailinator.com, I have to write the inbox name and I can see the inbox. So it is a public inbox. Anybody can receive a OTP there, and I can create, like sometimes when you have to download some PDF or something from some website, but they are asking you for an email ID, you can use mailinator.com and give any inbox name, get that PDF, so you don't share your email ID or something. So that is a safer way.
You say
For a
Billionator.
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
write it in the-
Just a
You have to
quick
keep-
question. Anuja wants to ask some quick question. Anuja?
It's not a question. I just wanted to congratulate Dr. Purnima for that well-moderated session. And also wanted to mention something that you asked the first panelist about integrating gender in medical education. And UNFPA, along with Sehat, really undertook a 4-year long project for integrating gender in medical education, because we thought that medicine was heavily biomedical and the social-cultural determinants of health were really overlooked. There were several implicit and explicit examples of gender discrimination in textbooks. Violence was not understood as a health issue. Sex ratios are declining, cannot happen without, the involvement of medical practitioners, and sex disaggregated disease data was not available. And we integrated gender into the modules of 5 disciplines: preventive and social medicine, forensic, OBGY, psychology, psychiatry, and internal medicine. And these modules were later approved by the Board of Studies and the Academic Council of the Maharashtra University of Health Sciences. I mean, I can share some of that information later, but just to tell the audience that a very concerted effort was made to integrate gender in medical education. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving the inputs. Dr. Anuja, ma'am, and Satoskar, madam, has very enlightened very nicely. We enjoyed the things. Now I will call our Dr. Megh, ma'am, to give the place to all of us. Our camera should be on. And ma'am,
Yes, yes, yes.
yes, please.
I really want to thank each and every faculty, Anuja and all the cyber security, the experts, all the panelists, Vandana Valvekar madam, Dr. Rajendra Sapka and Purnima, you conducted so beautifully. And so many things are, you can see the attendance. The YouTube are also there and already 100 people are attending. So I think we have achieved our target that maximum people should attend. With this, I think I like everyone to please put your camera on and let us have this pledge, which is very, very important. Today, on the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women and Girls, we, the gynecologists and medical women of India
Hello.
and the world, pledge to uphold the rights and dignity of every woman and girl.
Sir,
We stand against all forms of digital violence, including harassment, cyber stalking, threats, and misuse of images. We promise to support survivors with care, respect, and confidentiality. We commit to promoting digital safety literacy in our communities. We also advocate the strong laws, responsible technology, and safe online spaces. We will work together through AMWI, MWIA, MOGS towards zero tolerance for the digital violence. And we pledge to build a world where every woman and girl can live, speak online without fear. And this is our commitment and this is our pledge. So you all can say, yes, we agree.
Yes, we agree.
Yes, we agree.
We agree.
Yes,
So I
we
think
agree.
that is a wonderful thing.
Yes.
Stop sharing, please, Gauri.
Yes.
And a formal vote of thanks can be.
Yes. Just a minute. I'm really thankful to Dr. Mandakini Megh, ma'am, the elected world president of MWIA, and the dynamic personality, our beloved MOGS president, Dr. Rajendra Sankpal sir, and Dr. Purnima ma'am, and Vandana Valvekar ma'am. Heartiest congratulations and great salute to you also. And Dr. Ashwini ma'am, very nicely spoken, enlightened talks were given by Dr. Anuja ma'am. Then Dr. Chitnis, then Dr. Chikalkar, and I think we have missed about this Suvarna Shinde ma'am as she was stuck up with the case, and Dr. Geeta, and all the speakers, they are very good, very well oriented, and Dr. Shailesh Mohite sir, he has also enlightened with all the things, even he was busy with the things. So this is a very wonderful, very great academics and with the general legal base in that all the experts has been enlightened on this topic. This is the need of the time, and everybody should be aware of all these things. Once we are aware, then we can give the protection to the others. That is what I feel. It's very great thing. Then Mr. Punkar is there, my co-conveners Dr. Gauri and Dr. Bhumika. They have done a lots of great work, and the brain behind is the of course Dr. Mandakini Megh ma'am, and with the Dr. Sankpal sir, and with academics all the sessions Dr. Purnima ma'am, and everyone has done a lots of great inputs and everything to make this program very successful, informative, and very useful to all the things. And thank you for sharing the experiences, Dr. Vandana Malvekar ma'am. And I'm really thankful.
1 minute, Rajeshree.
Yes, ma'am.
We want to thank Dr. Rajendra Sapka because
Yes.
in spite of he is as a MOGS president, he is
very dynamic.
So I really appreciate Doctor, and I think you must like the program also. And this is a long association with the MOGS, AMWI. Even Vandana Valvekar madam and myself, we are planning a Central Asia conference, as you know, with the MWIA, with the MOGS, and I think it's a great part. And today I can see so many, attendees are YouTube also. There are 150 attendees.
I told most of them. They were students, they have attended.
Today's was a new topic, digital this violence. I think this is one of the wonderful seminars which we have attended also as a faculty and also as a organizer. So with this, thank you to everyone.
Thanks to Dr. Kedar sir and Nagargatti sir also, because they gave permission to us and everyone. I think thank you very much. God bless
I
you.
would just like to add before we leave that this session has been recorded live and it will be available on the channel of